Alright, another video. Yeah. Right to die. I guess I'll put this on the, Graceful Exit channel. So there's been a video exchange by this DiwataMan and Anti-Bullshit Man on the subject of euthanasia, but more specifically on just the right to die. I mean, the right to say, yeah, life is stupid. I'd like to gracefully get out of here. So simply put, the context of the argument is that there's this, like any kind of physical bodily thing you have to deal with, dying's a thing, like a headache or like any other kind of misery. You got a bad appendix, you can either die or you can have surgery to have it fixed. And we give you anesthesia, we give you the full complement of technology to do it gracefully. We don't tie you down and start hacking you open and pulling shit out while you're screaming. And obviously dying is a physical process that's rather dramatic. So yeah, it'd be nice to do it gracefully. Yes, there are quick ways to do it violently, and there are other ways to attempt it, but they're not quite certain. It's like you don't want to have half a surgery. You don't want the hole left open, the guy decide, nah, I'm done, I'm really don't feel like completing your surgery, so we'll just leave it open. And that's sort of the analogy. So this is basically, these people are basically saying, we're going to withhold this technology from you. We own it. It's our possession. It's not the human race's possession. We own it. We, the moralizing majority, and that's all this is. It's the moral majority back again. And it's full of a bunch of other assholes, a bunch of, tree huggers and pantheists and all kinds of other assholes who think they know what life is, and they're going to tell other people what they have to think life is. And it's always been the same game. It's been played out for hundreds of, if not thousands of years. You be like one of us. You walk like us. You dress like us. You think like us, or else. Okay, we're going to fuck you up. We're going to take control of your life. Not because you're a threat to us, just because we don't like you insulting our parade by having your own parade. You're not allowed to have your own parade. Okay, you got to be part of our parade. You got to play the game our way. And that's all it's about. It's preposterous arrogance and insensitivity and an outright violation of the basic ethics. Essentially, when you violate somebody's personal autonomy, their right to invest their welfare in their own judgment, it's no different than somebody else doing the same to you. So when somebody murders somebody, they're denying somebody their right to invest their welfare in their own judgment. And they're deciding, I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to tell you your life is shit and I'll kill you. There's no difference here. It's the same disrespect. You're disqualifying somebody else's living experience. You're disqualifying their intellect, their humanity, everything about them. You're disrespecting. A core, you're disrespecting. It's obscene, disgusting, and the only way you get away with it because you're a mob. You're a mob of little ignorant fucking goddamn morons. And you should have the same treatment. You prove that humanity deserves the concentration camps. Humanity deserves the world wars. Humanity deserves the little jackass wars we're having right now. We deserve this. We deserve the tiny percentage of the human race owning all 90% of the resources. We deserve all this shit because you fuckers are that petty. You're petty little weasels, and because you don't want to do something or because you have no use for a right, you will extort and bargain and steal it from somebody else and abuse it in the name of your God, but it's all in the name of your ego, in the name of your to protect what you value, not to protect the right of value, but just to protect you, and you in a position where you have no logical authority, none whatsoever. There's just no fucking way you can prove that life is good for people. You can't prove it logically, rationally. All you can say is, most people think so. That's all you can fucking goddamn do. You don't have one rational argument indicating, demonstrating, proving that one tiny bit of the slop that is life is worth enduring for the non-existent accomplishment of satisfying a bunch of stupid addictions. You just can't rationally unravel that and turn it into something like, now I have now an imperative. I have a moral and ethical imperative to go save people from their own judgment. Bull fucking shit. So anyway, sorry, that was a lot more context than you asked for, wasn't it? Yes, it was, Gary. Anyway, so this DiwataMan contributed nothing to the conversation whatsoever. He just typed out some stuff.
DiwataMan here.
And
so, this is a response to anti-bullshit.
Yeah, it's not really. Just dribble drabbles here about other videos. Doesn't say anything.
We should.
Nothing.
If we can.
Nothing.
Not, postpone their
blah 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 blah.
All their
Why are they a they in the first place? Why again is it that you're right to declare what is suffering and who's having it and when it's enough? Even if I'm not suffering, why should it even be your issue at all? If I have determined life is stupid, why can't I act on it in a rational, civilized manner, using the full complement of technology that we as a human race have acquired? Not you as the majority have acquired, but we as a civilized human race have acquired. Yeah, there's nothing here but obnoxious. Yeah, well, everybody's traditionally thought it was good to live, so it's good to live because that's what people do, because DNA says so. Not good enough.
How about, now we go on to a second area. What about a persistent vegetative state?
Well, that's really not even the issue, right? There should be living wills to take care of that. You put your welfare, when you're 18 years old, you have basically a couple of God people. Let's take the word God out. Custodial advice owners or whatever. Default owners. What do you call it? Power of attorney. Yeah, so you write up a power of attorney, basically acknowledging that there's a couple of people here on planet Earth that I trust. When my judgments in any kind of can be questioned at all, okay, you may default to their judgment. If they say my judgment's bad, they can take control of my life. They can decide whether I should be institutionalized or pumped full of drugs or some other kind of bullshit because they think I've become irrational or contrary to who I really am because some mental disorder owns me or some depression owns me or some whatever case, or now I'm in a coma, and now those people will now have the power to make the decision whether that state should be perpetuated with some hope that there'll be a recovery. Yeah, I will give my trust to the people I trust, and that's a good way of living our lives. And they're the problems solved. All of these problems, every single issue that can be brought up on this subject in terms of protecting people, you can make suicide fail-safe, you can make nuclear power plants fail-safe, you can make even the abolishment of cigarette smoking an inevitable and certain accomplishment. But that's not what you do as a society, you evil majority motherfuckers, because you're cunts, and you're lazy, and you're selfish, and you're ignorant and stupid. So yeah, you take all kinds of shortcuts and you say, well, no, we as the majority can steal their money and we'll pretend that we're preventing them from smoking by creating a horrible financial burden, made up of complete bullshit, and we'll even throw in some lies like, oh, cigarette smoking causes health problems that are more expensive. No, dying is still expensive no matter when you do it, and the later you do it, the more expensive it is, asshole. The more Social Security you collect, that means the less somebody else can collect, asshole. So, duh, you're wrong all over the place, but you don't care, you'll lie. And most of what this asshole says on this subject is just the same old cliche, well, how do you know when?
Well, you have to ask the question, well, how come some individuals can handle these situations and others can't, and isn't it our instinct, right, to say, well, we should help them with that?
Well, that's your instinct is your problems. What your instincts are your fucking problems, asshole. If you're going to start invading somebody else's space, if you're going to take their authority over their life, you got to come up with something better than I have an instinct. All right? Again, until you can make the real hard, rational argument that's in their best interest for you to intervene, and you have some sort of, definitive probability that you are correct, and that it is definitely a good thing for you to intervene, and that there's a high likelihood that your intervention will be quite necessary and create some quite glorious result, you have no fucking right.
Just
right, fucking asshole.
And they'll even help you with it. Right? Society sets up
see,
clinics, and you can just walk in. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the little silly word like it's a help thing. Now, give me my fair entitlement to access. All right, I don't sit there. I can help you with your overeating problem. I mean, I can put a guard on your face. I mean, I could take control of your life and make decisions for you and price things out of accessibility to you. And I can make things even, let's just abolish them. Let's just abolish them and prohibit you from having them, because there's no fail-safe. We can't make ice cream fail-safe because somebody will go and eat it who shouldn't be eating it. So let's just abolish it for everybody because some people can't use it responsibly. Fuck you.
Right, so that's one extreme position. The rest of society have the obligation or responsibility to do so.
Again, society's responsibility is to obey the law, okay, and the constitutional principles. It's not society's responsibility to define what's good for people or what happiness is or any of those other words. What society's responsibility is to have a constitution that says we are not going to intervene, all right? We won't allow the government to intervene until it has a clear and present danger kind of standard, and that's the standard. You can't just take away fundamental rights unless you have something real, okay, some sort of real threat, terrorism or some other kind of thing. There's no real threat to people voluntarily choosing to kill themselves. You can put fail-safe into the machinery. If like I said, if I make a living will, and the only way I can kill myself is the three people on my living will have to agree that I should be allowed to do that. All right, that means that throughout my life, if my judgment changes or whatever changes, those people have to stay the same. And let's just put a condition in that you can't change your three guardians, your three power of attorney people. You can't change those people unless one of them dies, but you can't change them for a 2-year waiting period. So you can't just all of a sudden say, "Oh, that motherfucker turned out to be such a turncoat," and get rid of that judgment, because that person's going to vote against you because that person understands that you've gone fucking nuts and is going to vote against your rights. So, I mean, you can put in mechanisms that make it fail-safe, that no disabled person is going to have any pressure because they're going to have 3 guardians who are always going to be able to say, look, he's feeling guilty because he's using up $3 million of resources in the last year and he feels guilty about it. All right, but he doesn't really want to die. All right, so he's going to be protected because he's going to have 3 guardians who are going to be able to say for him he wants to live, even though he knows his life is stupid, and even though he knows it's all expensive. He doesn't really want to die. He just doesn't like that it's so expensive, and he feels guilty. And those other people are going to protect him. So there, again, you can, like I said, there's every fucking goddamn little fucking nitpicking piece of bullshit you people throw at this argument. You can explain how that could be covered against, and it's just a matter of will. It's not a matter of means. The means are there. You can have it as a function of society. The point is you fuckers don't want it. You don't care whether it's ethical. You don't care whether it can be done ethically and responsibly. You just don't want it to be done. All right, it's that clear, because you're sadistic. You're selfish. You're so obsessed with your own life and living your own life that you can't even, this guy laughs. Through all kinds of parts of this video, he's chuckling. Let's see if we can hit some of the chuckles. And it's like, what the fuck is that about? So when you think about the patients of Dr. Kevorkian, it makes you chuckle. I don't think it's, Lou Gehrig's disease is nothing to fucking chuckle about. Chuckles.
And you just slip out of existence and that's it. It may become very utilitarian, very efficient and cheap to do that instead of spending billions of dollars looking for cures for post-traumatic stress.
Well, look, that's another issue here, is that it's really not our responsibility. It's not my responsibility to finance your silly expectations that you want to be immune and live to be 500 years old. Well, you finance it, asshole. Go find some other assholes willing to be your slave, okay, to do all the work and industry required to pay for all the crap you want society to be obsessed with. I mean, right now, we're basically... people can't afford to own their house because basically they spend the money that they should be spending on a house on what will be their medical care. I mean, we're throwing away over 100 grand per human being now. How preposterously expensive does that have to get before you assholes wake up and say, you know what, that's an awful big, huge, giant burden we're piling on people who don't want one goddamn bit of it. I don't want one goddamn bit of your silly expectations. Your silly, I want to live to be 90 years old and have 7 people taking care of me all day. Fuck you.
Stress disorder or any of that stuff, or cancer, it doesn't matter, right? We can just give you a pill and it's just, hey, there you go.
Well, isn't that what you're doing now? You're just giving people pills because, oh, well, they have the wrong attitude, so we'll pill them into a better attitude. You fucker.
The other day, and I see it says right on the box, right on the front, for cold sores. Right? Now, we know it's not a result of a cold, right? That comes from...
Oh, whatever. This is the end of his video. He's talking about herpes. Stupid waste of time. But, you know, he's sort of pointing out that, yeah, well, look, we can't even face certain facts. Well, there's a ton of facts that human beings aren't facing. That's true. But the point is, you're not adding anything to the argument here with this video. You don't say anything in this video. You just pose these questions as if they're really questions, and they're not questions. They're solvable problems. They're nothing but the product of nitpicking and bullshit. And yeah, we're never going to get to that future as long as people like you keep pretending. Okay, maybe you think people should have a right. Who knows? But this is no way to express that. This is bullshit. This is useless. Like you're pretending like there is something real here. He even points out how, well, it's doctors' instinct to save lives or something. Again, who the fuck cares what doctors have turned their mission statement into? That's their problem. Dr. Kevorkian was a doctor, okay, and he understood the medical necessity, okay. So I mean, that's all it is. It's a recognition of suffering. If somebody's going to tell me what's the more valuable human component, suffering or longevity, well, I'm always going to go with quality over quantity any goddamn day. So it would, in my opinion, it's a doctor's job to know when enough is enough and to do something about it, not just sit back as like a bystander and say, well, nature did it. I'll only keep, you know, sopping up the blood and I'll keep stitching up the wounds, but I won't do anything to stop the instruments of that deterioration and that decomposition. I mean, just sit there and let it rust, basically, and then apply oil when it's way too late, when there's nothing left. What the fuck is that? So anyway, yeah, enough of a video. Probably past enough. Hopefully I have more than 15 minutes on this channel. We'll find out. Hopefully the video isn't over 15 minutes. Then I'll be okay. Anyway. It goes on and on and on. Fuck. But well, anybody who's against people having a right to invest in their own welfare, in their own judgment, should go to hell. They should be first run over by a steamroller, and then they should just go to fucking hell. I don't care what hell, any hell. Just find one. Go live in a fish. You should go live inside of a fucking fish. Yeah, fuck you people. Fuck you. You should get what you're willing to give. You should get exactly as much respect as you're willing to give others. Exactly that much. Which means, yeah, you should be run over by a steamroller. Fuckers.